And you know what? Pete Buttigieg can take his electric vehicles and his bicycles, and he and his husband can stay out of our girls' bathrooms. Yep. Yeah, and only
the floating head of Marjorie Taylor Greene at that podium, speaking about how Pete Buttigieg and his husband need to stay out of our girls' bathrooms. Again, maybe it'll be doubled back over. So she was just joking about what people are serious about and what people want to carry out violence over. But she's gonna rile up the crowd. That's all she's there to do. It's such a not a big deal. So that's on brand for Marjorie Taylor Greene. But that's not all. There was more on this undercard that happened at his rally before Trump came out. And oddly, Herschel Walker made an appearance, and he told us quickly why he shouldn't have. Watch.
For this country. People want to ask me all the time why I'm running. I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of them wanting to teach CTR in school, critical race theory. Can you tell me what that means? We're Americans. We're not black. We're not white. We're American.
CTR, again, these guys that are pushing this, it's quite obvious, and I really wish their supporters would realize it. We're following them because of hate, not because we know what they're talking about, or even they know what they're talking about. We just heard CTR or CRT or whatever acronym we need to have to be mad about. They're not actually mad about anything because they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Now, I talked last week about how Herschel Walker has kind of been hidden when we talked about Dr. Oz and he getting kicked off of one of those presidential committees, or they were held on since Trump was in office. And he hasn't been making too many appearances because he says things like this. Here's more from Herschel Walker.
Build back better. You know, I'm always thinking, if you want to build back better, first you probably want to control the border because you want to know who you're building it for and why. Then you probably want to protect your military because they're protecting you against people and other countries that don't like you. Defunding the police, bad idea. You want to fund the police so they have better training, better equipment to protect the law of the land. Because you don't want people just doing whatever they want to do. Build back better. You probably want to become energy independent. Otherwise, you're going to depend on other countries for your livelihood. Build back better. You probably want something written, like law of the land, stating all men are to be treated equal. Oh, we have the Constitution. So you probably want to put people in charge who's gonna fight for the Constitution. Just thinking. God bless you.
Just thinking. Just trying to figure out, build back better. But obviously he was reading off his computer and still didn't really know about what the point of that entire diatribe was supposed to be. It's just supposed to dog out build back better, but it's supposed to have a meaning behind it. It doesn't matter. Again, these are the inspirations for Herschel Walker to run, because Marjorie Taylor Greene made it, because she can go up there and talk about they need to belong in our girls' bathrooms. There's so much to that, but I wanted your thoughts on all this.
I gotta say, I finally heard something from Herschel Walker that I kind of agree with. I mean, he was talking about, well, we need to spend money on police retraining. You're right, we do, because so many officers don't understand what it means to de-escalate. They don't understand what the Constitution is, and they trample on people's rights. So if that's what Herschel Walker really means, that's great. I support him on that. I don't think that's what he means, though. I mean, I don't think he knows what he's talking about with that, with police retraining. He certainly doesn't know what he's talking about with, critical race theory or CTR, or well, I don't know, is that somehow like, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR? Is that what he was talking about? Maybe he had that pumped on him. Look, Herschel Walker probably got hit a few too many times in the head in his illustrious football career, and that's fine. He just doesn't know what he's talking about. And I have a feeling the residents of Georgia, the voters of Georgia, they see through this. They know that he's only there because he's a friend of Donald Trump, and friends of Donald Trump, that's not enough to qualify you for public service.
At what point are they gonna realize that, though? Because there's just general base support, but there's people who go to these rallies and it's just fun. Oh, we're going to the rally, it's gonna be fun. Donald Trump's gonna say some ridiculous things. He's gonna curse a few times and we're gonna lose our minds and it's gonna be great. But I wonder what percentage of these folks are convinced of any kind of voting decision or any kind of support or donations to certain people outside of Trump, because they have a reason for him every time. He's the ringleader of the racist wing of their party. But when it comes to these folks, how much are inspired who didn't hear what Herschel Walker had to say and then go up there and see him talk about CTR And then they go, that's my guy. Even if he got it right, what makes you think that him being in the Senate is gonna do something to change whether or not there's there's certain school districts across the country that do implement education to talk about how throughout the years we've implemented racism throughout so many realms of our society, and it just lives in it. That's what he's against, which he has no idea, but that understanding is something they want to detach people from. How many people really are buying that now? How many people are going with the hatred that Marjorie Taylor Greene was pushing there, talking about we want to keep those gays out of our girls' bathrooms? If you're worried about children, why aren't you trying to keep them out of the men's bathrooms?
Well, and if you're worried about having a successful rally, why don't you have an advanced person, I don't know, put some sort of Apple box there so it doesn't look like Marjorie Taylor Greene has a microphone coming out of her nose. I mean, I'm so glad that you pointed out this was sort of earlier you pointed out this is a sparsely attended rally. Donald Trump rallies are getting worse and worse, and there's a sign that things are starting to fall apart. Fewer people are going to them. Donald Trump is making less sense. You don't even have advanced people now who think, okay, maybe we need to, I don't know, have an Apple box or something so Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't look like a floating head behind the microphone. These rallies are coming apart. They are falling apart. They're not doing well. And these are all signs of continued disorganization and I think disinterest that a lot of Republicans have. And the only place you can find these rallies now are some of the extreme far-right networks like OAN. So, Donald Trump's got a lot of problems.
Yeah, the splintering of this party I think is gonna be fascinating because there's people who are looking when they're either gonna bet on the Mitch McConnell wing or the Donald Trump wing, because it's obvious those two are on both ends, even though they have 95% of things in common. Mitch McConnell just doesn't like Trump's approach. So we'll see which way he wins, because the party doesn't like him. They just think they need him because they have nothing else. They can't excite people the way this racist excites their base. That's just the way it is.